Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now, let's hear it for our special guest host, Joe Dukes.
I just want to hear that. It's kind of like coming out of a roller coaster and being like, you throw your arms up and you're like, yeah. So, hey, I hope everyone is as fired up after coming out of A View from the Edge as I am. I didn't realize really that the name A View from the Edge meant as much as like it's here, 2 weeks ago. I was, a bunch of us were in Ireland. We went to this place, the Cliffs of Moher, which if you've ever seen, the cliffs are like 700 feet down and it's crazy. And standing on that edge, like that was, man, that makes little butterflies in your tum-tum. Coming out of A View from the Edge, I realized it was that same feeling. It was, guys, this event was life-changing. It was life-changing for me. I know that every person that I've talked to, not only on my team, but just brand new people and people throughout the Alliance, when they were talking about, wow, this was an amazing event. It was, they saw a view of what the possibilities were in their life. So I'm super excited about that. I'm grateful that Andy and Jane asked me to help host this call today. And so I'm stoked to get it started. We have some really cool guests on here that I'm excited to introduce to you guys as well. I want to start off by sharing a little bit what I got out of the event. Andy it was great that he spoke so many different times and shared so many different things. We had such great speakers, where he was talking about like, what's your values? And I was talking with Vray Joseph here earlier today, and she and Jake were sharing with me like where what they took. One of the things that they took that I realized that when your values line up with your actions, that stuff happens. Like, and I look back in my life and I say, hey, you know what? It was those times in my life that my values and my actions lined up, that was when things really started to move forward and really started to happen in my life. And so as we're getting started here, guys, like we have 4 days. We have this 4-day window of between now and the 30th at midnight Eastern time, that the view that our family reunion, which is going to be in South Miami Beach, we have this discount ticket price. I mean, it's $199. It's the cheapest I've ever seen one of our tickets ever. And to be able to attend this event, there's going to be so much incredible training that's going to come out of that, and more lives are going to be changed. I'm going to encourage you here at the front of the call to just, hey, if you haven't got your ticket yet, you need to go and get it. In fact, you can let this run on the side. You can turn your YouTube on. You can run on the side. You can go over to the allianceevents.com and you can go ahead and sign up now. The main, like, Mark Aceta is amazing. I'm so grateful that Andy brought Mark on. One of the things that it did for me was I got to meet another guy who I want to be mentored by. And one of his talks was the farmer talk. Some of you may not know, I was a produce guy for a long time. I ran a produce department. And so I related to his carrot story. I understood that, because it's like, if you got a carrot, he pulled a carrot out and it had, one had this really long root and no little root. And then he had others that he really showed that the way to build a business is not, you don't want a carrot with just one long root, because that's not going to be a healthy carrot. That's going to be an anemic carrot. That carrot is probably not going to taste very good. It's not going to grow very well. And, truthfully, it doesn't go good in your stew. So you need something that has lots of different roots. We have, Andy talks about getting wide as a fat baby's butt. So, that's a great analogy in our business. Integrity and Andy continue to make it better and better and better for all of us, with their compensation plan, with how they're trying to figure out, hey, how do we make it better for the team as they're growing their organization and as they're selling more? And so one of the big things is the tools that we have. We have some fantastic tools. President's Club, Clay Murtis. I realize that Clay is an unsung hero in the Alliance. Clay he keeps bringing all these tools to Andy, that, I'll just tell you, I know that I am using President's Club more starting from today. I mean, I always look at his stuff, and Venus tells me all the time, she says, hey, we're investing in President's Club. Have you talked to Clay about all the new stuff that he has going on? They just came out with this tool that Clay struck a deal with ZipRecruiter to where now we can get ads with President's Club's help for like $75 an ad. It's a ridiculous price. I mean, heck, I remember before, a couple of years ago, President's Club, or not President's Club, I was using ZipRecruiter, and it was costing me literally hundreds of dollars per ad. It was crazy. And now that Clay has stepped in with the help of Lucero, and they are there to help us not only, recruit, but help us close deals as well. We have, guys, we do have this amazing tool in President's Club. And I'm going to talk more about that as we're going along, but I want to introduce you guys to a good friend of mine. She hails from Columbia, South Carolina. Her name is Cameron Pearson. And Cameron she's directed James and Pam Alara and is just new to the team and is kicking butt and taking names. So Cameron, I'd love for you to say hi to everybody and kind of high level about your background and what you were doing before you came to play with us.
Well, still doing it. I'm Cameron from South Carolina, and I am a physical therapist assistant working home health. So that is my current full-time job. And I love it. I'm able to help lots and lots of people. It's a really rewarding career. However, about 6 months ago, I figured out that, this career is just, there's not a whole lot of room for growth. And so, by the grace of God, found the Alliance, and it's just kind of worked out from here. I went to NatCon in January, wasn't even licensed. Immediately got licensed after NatCon, and then went to the View from the Edge, and everything changed for me. It really did. So I'm super, super excited about that. It's just the 3 months after NatCon, I was dabbling a little bit, but I wasn't taking it super seriously. And Mark Aceta, he's brilliant. He's amazing, and really motivated me to take this seriously and try to live the life that I know I'm deserving of living. And so I'm super excited about that. So excited.
Cool. So what was it what was your aha moment? He had 14 characters. So
I know, it's so hard to choose. So hard.
What was the lightning strike from God that was like, oh gosh, I guess I should.
I know. I had so many of those, to be honest. But so I know everyone was super emotional about the hospital character, the one that was, on his deathbed. And that was so emotional, but it was something I needed to hear, because I don't want to look back in 60 years, 70 years and think, wow, I had an opportunity to do this. I could have done this, and, was too scared to take the risk, or I was too complacent in my life. And so that was really my aha moment. Like, oh my gosh, I want to go all out and risk it all, and, fail a few times, but that's okay. So that is what I'm really looking forward to, is just really going into this business and working hard to achieve the life that I know I'm deserving of living. And he asked us a few questions. Like, he asked us what our dream life looks like. And then he asked us, so what's holding you back? And that is when I was like, wow, I'm holding myself back. We as humans are so self-limiting, and I don't want to do that anymore. So, yeah.
That's so cool. Well, so
I'm excited.
Well, so am I. So what's changed though since? It's cool. Don't get me wrong. You come out of an event, right? You're all fired up.
I know. I'm so
all
excited.
Full of vim and vigor. And what'd you do about it?
So on the plane ride home, I was reflecting. I was like, Cam, you have got to do something. So Tuesday morning, woke up, went and worked out, got my mind right. And then I was like, okay, I have an hour to dial from 8 to 9 before I start seeing patients again. You are going to book 8 appointments. No excuses. You have to set goals. So I set that goal and I booked 9 appointments, 10 contacts, 9 appointments. So excited.
So
And it's life-changing, just setting the goals for yourself. So, like before, when I was dialing, I didn't have a goal set. I would get in my head about it. And that is where I messed up. Like, just do the activity. Don't think about it. Just do it. So that was a huge, huge game changer, just changing my mindset on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So cool. So yesterday morning, you woke up, you went and worked out, got your body right, got your mind right, set your goal, booked 9 appointments.
Yeah.
So now what's the next step that you're taking now?
So now I'm telling all my friends about it. I actually got my best friend to get a ticket to family reunion. So I'm so excited about that. But I am looking forward to like building my business. And eventually I'm quitting my job by June. June.
Okay. So what day in June are we going to pull the pin?
No, before June, like end of May, I'm ready to go. I mean, it's a full month basically, but
okay.
But yeah, it's going to happen. Keep me accountable. I'm doing it.
So y'all heard it here first.
All of you guys.
Cam is closing the doors on her physical therapy practice the end of May. So cool. So now you said that you're looking at building your business. So you have her ticket.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And now you got your friend to sign up. So now you have somebody else that's going with you.
Yep.
You set a goal yet about how many people that you want to have with you at family reunion?
Ooh, at least 5.
Okay.
At least 5.
And this is one of those things. This is unscripted, guys. So like, and I'm probably going off. I'm probably not doing what I'm supposed to do, but like I should know exactly how you're going to answer this. I got no clue. So
I know.
This is going to be fun. So, cool. So now, so the cool thing here is that now because we haven't talked about this, but do you know that there's tools available to help you, start booking interviews? And so that way we can start helping you not only in your warm market. I know you've been working with James Allaire and you've been working with me on getting some more people in your warm market.
Right.
So two questions. Are you're investing in your sales every week? I know James and Pam are investing with you and you're investing in a GMR every week, correct?
Right.
Okay. Are you ready to start investing in your business? You've been investing in your job.
Yeah.
So really, you got 2 things. You got your job and your business. Your job is personal production and your business is actually growing your business. Are you ready and willing to invest in your business now?
Yeah, I'm ready to do whatever it takes.
Cool.
I'm ready to go.
Cool.
All in.
I love that. So I think that you hit a note there where you talked about goal setting.
Yeah.
Goal setting is really where it all starts.
Yeah, it's huge.
So us being able to get together and say, hey, you know what targets are you going to hit? And then, Andy and Mike have been talking to me a lot about this mathematical equation because they know I don't do math. Both those guys are engineers. I mean, it only took me twice to pass algebra. So it's leads times activity times coaching equals the result.
Right.
So the one thing I did remember from algebra class was that anything times 0 equals 0. So if I have leads and I have activity but I don't have coaching, the result is going to be no bueno.
Right.
Or if I have activity and I have coaching but I don't have leads, that's not good either. So if any of those are jacked up, it's going to give me a not good result. So the cool part here is that so looking at your calendar, because I know now doing what you do in the medical field, you are scheduled, correct or not correct?
So yes, I have a pretty crazy schedule. I'm kind of all over the place. So, I get patients thrown on me throughout the week and I just have to see them, but I set my schedule in a way that I have availability to get things done.
Okay.
I mean, you have to. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you, hey, Steve, can you give me access to share a screen? Please.
Yep, give me 1 second.
Oh, you bet. So I apologize for not asking earlier. So the cool thing here is that Cameron, is that on your end, being goal oriented and having to be focused in your job because you're a busy professional. So of course you can't just tell your physical therapy clients, I'll show up sometime today. You have to be very, focused and you have to know when you're showing up because they have to know when you're showing up. Well, The cool thing is this, I'm going to, and this may blow your mind, but do you know that people who have a full calendar, like their calendar has a bunch of stuff in it, but it's all like, they tend to get more stuff done than the person who just has a to-do list and like, hey, I'm going to get these 22 things done today. And then at the end of the day, they're like, holy crap, I was busy all day, but I didn't really get all my stuff done. But if it all made it in the calendar, it's magic that it gets done.
Yeah.
So, and I've heard Andy say this a ton of different times when he's talking about trying to coach folks on or he's talking about his schedule, and his schedule is crazy. So if you haven't seen this yet, have you ever seen one of these sheets on from the activity book?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have an activity book?
Oh, yes.
Okay, awesome. So this goes back to, setting out your calendar. Like if you will be willing to lay your calendar out and just block out those A activities. Like for you right now, an A activity may be, hey, my job, your workouts, all those things that have to get put in there. And then you find that, hey, I have that, and you said it, I have that 1 hour that I'm able to dial.
Right.
So can I book that 1 hour? But if you would, are you typically, is Sunday usually kind of a rest day for you or kind of a get your mind right day?
No.
Or is it a work day?
It's a work day. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I would say, hey, scheduling in a time to schedule your day or to schedule your week is going to be huge.
Right.
You scheduling time in your week. And so for me, that's typically between 7 and 9 on Sunday. I am blocking out that time so I can actually, look at my calendar for the next week. And so that way I know. And then before that, scheduling time. So this would be a good time for you to be talking to James and Pam, or you and I to be talking about, hey, what's your lead plan? Are we dialing on Monday? So with your work week, I'm not going to go too deep here, but with your work week, are you going to be, because you're still working a full-time schedule, are you running appointments 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 4 days a week? How does your week look?
So I want to try to do 3 days a week for appointments.
Okay.
Saturdays, obviously I have the full day, so I can do Saturdays all day.
Sure.
And then dialing 2 days a week. So that's my right now for the month of May. Anyway.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. So I'm gonna give you 2 tasks. Okay. One is I'm gonna have you pull your activity sheet out. I'm gonna have you pull your activity book out and write out what your week looks like for work for the next week. Okay. And what it's gonna look like. And then this is when I'm going to run appointments, because do you have a target of how many appointments you want to run?
Yes.
Okay. So then we're actually going to block in those appointments in your schedule, and then lay out when you're going to dial. And then I'd love for you to share that with me and James and Pam.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what my week looks like. This is what my target is of how many appointments I'm running. And then ask the question, is there anything on here that I should tweak? Is there anything on here you think I should change? Is there any, because sometimes it's, because truthfully, if you just give us the schedule, and this was a huge aha moment to me one time that Mike laid out was, I gave him my schedule and then I said, this is what I'm going to do. Well, it didn't give him any room. I just said, this is what I'm going to do. Well, that's not me asking for coaching.
Right.
That's me just telling him what I'm going to do. So he really, Mike and I have a good enough relationship that he just asked, okay, bro, do you want me to give you some insight on this? Oh, yes, please, please, please. So I would encourage you to say, hey, this is what my schedule looks like right now. Is there anything on it I should tweak? I should change? I should add to it? Because the other thing that we want to add in there is we want to add in, when are we going to do your recruiting? When are we going to, because that's another skill set. And so when are we going to start building your team? And so maybe it's like, hey, I'm going to be, when can we schedule some cold market recruiting? Getting you on the phone with Clay or Lucero at President's Club, helping get you on the phone with my staff or Mike and Noel's staff to be able to help make sure that we have some interviews set for you. And that starts, and then we will schedule a coaching and accountability time. Okay.
Sounds good.
Dude, I am so stoked.
I'm excited.
I'm telling you, I am fired up for watching what you're doing. And I'm excited because the end of May, we have 34 days. I'm fired up out of my mind right now to see what
I am too.
What Cam Pearson is going to create in the next month.
I know. Big things.
It's going to be bad.
Big things coming.
5 people at family reunion, retiring the end of next month, and taking over the world. All right. Yep. Well, buddy, I am so grateful for you. Thank you for hopping on. I know you got to go and help. You betcha.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
I'm excited. Oh my gosh. Cool. So, oh man, this is exciting stuff. This is exciting stuff. So coming back and coming out of an event like this, it's one thing to come out with a lot of enthusiasm and excitement and like, hey, I'm ready to take over the world. It's another thing to take that enthusiasm and that excitement and move it into activity and move it into action. That I think at the end of the view, when Mark brought up those 14 pillars and was talking about each character, one of the big things I took away was also it's time to move now. The ICU patient that Cam was just talking about. Yeah, it's knowing that, hey, our time is finite. How many times do you sit down with a client and they say something that I'm just going to call it's silly, where they say, if something happens to me, tell me, Jake, why did you send in this request? Well, if something happens to me, I just want to make sure that Beret and the girls are taken care of. Be like in your head, if you've written business, you're probably thinking that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Of course, something's going to happen. What do you mean? Like die or disability or whatever? But that was a huge aha moment to me that time is clicking by, 2 hands on your watch now and right now. So I'm excited to hear from our next person because she's got TikTok on her brain all the time. So if we can bring on Kinley Lamar, Kinley is there. You are, bud. Why don't you?
Hi, everyone.
Hey, you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing really good.
Cool. So
boring. So my dogs are going crazy. They don't like the thunder.
Well, hey, that's what happens in Texas. It snows here in Utah. It thunders in Texas. So why don't Kinley? Why don't you introduce yourself? And what I'd love to hear is high level background, and if you're willing, let's go deep on the personal side a little bit. Kind of what's moving you and where you're at, because TikTok, I want to hear it.
Yeah, so I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I moved here about 2 years ago, so I'm originally from a very small town up on the Texas-Oklahoma border. But recently I left my job at Amazon, so I was an area manager of logistics. So all the delivery vans, I was the one helping load those packages, get them out the door, get them to your doorstep. But I left that role back in November. I've kind of just been trying to find the next role. Of course, all these layoffs have made it hard, but I'm so thankful I found the Alliance. They provided me an opportunity, and I'm really, really looking forward to rolling ahead full steam. What drives me, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes on September 6th of 2009. I was 10 years old. A year before, I lost my grandfather and my grandmother, both maternal, within a year. So it was very, very hard on my family. My aunt was not in the picture. There was no one to help my family with those costs. Neither one of them had life insurance. They didn't believe in it. And I watched my parents struggle through that. So, and then about 6 months later, I was diagnosed. I had a life insurance policy with Amazon, but when I left, I lost that life insurance policy. So, trying to find a new life insurance policy. Thankful for Jake and Beret and Joe. Y'all have been helping me so much try to find one. But yeah, that's kind of what's driving me. But yeah.
Cool. So you got some health stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And which is crazy because I know it's really easy to look at people from the outside and say, oh, man, she's young, she's got her whole life ahead of her, nothing going on. And because you not only have type 1 diabetes, but you have some other health stuff too, right?
Yes. So I have a blood condition. I was born with it. So my blood is not cyclical, it's spherical. So I had my spleen removed when I was 8 years old because it was filtering out all of the blood in my body. So it had filtered out so much blood that it had grown a second spleen. So it was about to burst. So thankfully they got that on time. I also had a tumor removed from my back. So my maternal grandmother or my maternal grandfather was wheelchair disabled. So he had no movement in his legs. And that same tumor came for me. Thankfully, my mother saw the signs, had it removed when I was 6 years old. And then when I was 16, I was diagnosed with a heart condition. So yeah, that's a little bit more in depth, kind of getting in the weeds here.
No, I thank you for your vulnerability on it. And really the thing is that it's really easy to look at someone from the outside and say, oh, she's got this corporate job, she works for Amazon, she's an area manager, she's so nice and she's young and just an attractive person. And so her life, I'm sure, is bubblegum and rainbows and unicorns farting little, puffs of smoke, and it's great. And they don't know what's going on inside. So thank you for sharing. So cool. So this now was this your first event?
Yes, this was.
Okay, cool. So did you have any expectations walking into it?
No, I kind of went in with an open mind. Sarah, Jake, Beret, they all kind of hyped me up. So I went to a hotspot with Haley back in the end of March. Saw that, got fired up with them. The next day I signed up for my course. Within 3 days, I had finished it. By that Friday, I had done my fingerprinting, licensing, AML courses. And I've really been holding myself back. So what I'm doing right now is kind of a part-time role turned full-time. It's not a hard schedule. It's a soft schedule. So my boss will call me and be like, hey, I need you to come work at 1:00 in the afternoon. And I'll drive an hour to go help her work for that evening and then come back. So one of the biggest takeaways that I took leading into the event was move out of the soft schedule, move yourself to a hard schedule, give yourself a chance. Because, going through trying to get my warm market scheduled, I never knew what I was doing and when, and that had worked for the past few months. But now that I have this opportunity, it doesn't work. You can't base your life off of, I might get this done today. No, it's you need to have a sense of urgency. You need to move. You need to move mountains.
Cool. So, cool. So you got the sense of urgency. So coming in now talking about a hard calendar. I know I pulled out the activity sheet and you and I have talked a couple different times on calendaring. what's changed for you as far as, I know that, so we finished the event. So I just want you to talk about when we finished the event on Sunday night and then you left to go home on Monday. What, were you sitting on the fence? Were you like twiddling your thumbs? You're like, hey, next week sometime I'm going to start and, eventually we'll make stuff happen. Or what was it that you did stepping out of the event?
So stepping out of the event that night, leaving, Sarah and I made a game plan. Hey, we're gonna go through the activity book. We're gonna lead plan. So that night, she called on her plane. We didn't get a chance to talk, but that morning, Haley and I left at 7 a.m. Landed in Texas at 10. I had a difficult conversation with my boss. The hard conversation that, hey, these 2 days I'm not available anymore. And then got home at noon, got my leads at 1 o'clock, had them printed, and started dialing at 1:10.
Sweet. So what was the result?
So before I got the leads, Haley, Sarah, and I sat down. We came up with a game plan, like our dial plan, like 35 dials an hour. Okay. So I made 137 dials in 4 hours, trying to fill 7 appointments. The goal. So that equated out to like roughly 34.225 dials an hour, 35 and a quarter. And then that doesn't include like coaching on objections, celebrating the wins. I ended up getting 9 appointments. So I overbooked by 2. And then yesterday I had 7 sits and one of them has already been rescheduled.
Cool. So let's be clear. So you said that you were dialing, you had a approximately 34.25698, dials per hour. And then, and you said that you were getting coaching between your dials. How, what was that?
Absolutely. So, the biggest thing for me is I've always been, go find the people who know what they're talking about. Learn from them, because that's the only way that you're going to grow. So I called Sarah after my first objection. I was like, I had no idea what to do. I felt flat on my face and made a mess of it, but she coached me through it. She was amazing. 2 calls, I believe it was 2 dials afterwards, I made my first appointment.
Sweet. And so did you continue to call and get coaching, or was that like a one-time deal and you're like, I got this. I don't need to call no one anymore?
Oh, no. It was not a one-time coaching thing. I think I talked to Sarah more than 10 times, just calling her, keeping her updated on what I was doing. These people your uplines are pouring into you. So give them that reassurance that, hey, this is working. Keep them updated. Get feedback. Ask for it. If they're pouring so much into you, pour right back into them.
Cool. Awesome. So when you went out, you had your 9 appointments yesterday, you sat with 7. Now, were you trying to figure stuff out? And like, were you calling from the home? Were you trying to figure stuff out on your own?
So I did call from the home. That's something that Jake really beat into me. Always call from the home. So I did that. And then in between appointments, calling for coaching, saying, hey, this happened and I have no idea how to learn from that. And there were some that even when getting objections, you need to call. You need to keep calling. You don't just call once, you continue to call. So when I was doing that, I was overcoming those objections and I was learning more. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Cool, man. That is exciting. That's exciting stuff to watch someone come out of an event, hair on fire, ready to roll, asking for coaching. So where is it that you see coming from a view from the edge? I mean, are you planning on going to family reunion?
So I already have my ticket to family reunion and I bought 2 while I was out there. So I'm going to be bringing Zach. He's kind of keeping the puppies occupied, but bringing him. He is Haley's brother-in-law. So it's kind of a family affair. So Haley and her husband are going to be out there. I was like pulling Zach saying, you don't have a choice. You're going. So
Gotcha. So your future sister-in-law hired you.
Mhm. Yes.
I gotcha. Okay. I'm trying to run the genealogy in my head. I'm from Alaska where, everyone's related to everyone else. So it's kind of weird, but
Yep.
cool. So you already have your ticket. You got a ticket for your fiance or your boyfriend. And now have you thought about, who else are you're going to bring? How many other people that you're going to bring with you?
Yeah, so I want to bring at least 4 other people besides Zach and I. That's kind of been my goal. I have people in mind. I've been trying to reach out to them, but overcoming the recruiting objections is the next phase, like learning how to overcome those objections from them, like hey, I want to see how it goes for you. Let me get you on the phone with Jake or Joe or Jara or Sarah, and let's get you on the phone and just see what your opportunities are. Talk to the people who know what they're talking about.
Cool. Now, did you kind of follow along with what Mark was talking about, where he was talking about the difference between inviting and presenting?
Yeah.
Cool. So the cool thing is that absolutely being able to learn those, that forward script. Have you heard Mike or Andy talk about the forward script? Okay. So the forward script, there's forwards that, and the cool thing is that like you have amazing people in your upline. Sarah Seifert, Bray Joseph, Jake Joseph, Jara, Mike and Noel. The cool thing is that you can lean on them to be able to talk to them. So the way a conversation that you can even have is so, hey, Kinley, hey, I don't know if you knew this, but I started working with this company and they're working in insurance and they need some help and they got these leads. And you need to meet this guy, Jake Joseph, because he's like young and sharp. He's got an amazing wife and he's a great dad, but he is blowing this thing up. But he is hiring right now. And he was telling me to keep my eye out for some good talent. So I was just thinking about you. Didn't know if you were keeping your options open at all. And then when they say something like, well, tell me all about it. Well, it's not my deal. It's Jake's deal. So that way it takes the pressure off of you having to be like well, let me tell you all about it. And let me explain it to you because then it comes down to that. So it's something, it's that forward script, insurance, leads, help, and Jake, Bray, whoever you're going to get them on the phone with. So that way it takes that pressure off of you.
Absolutely.
So that's certainly another. So kind of tuck that in your back pocket. And the cool thing is that it's kind of like dialing. Like talking to friends is kind of like dialing. Like at first it may seem clunky. It's like, I'm not good at it. I'm like, cool. You weren't good at making dials either. You probably weren't good at stacking packages at Amazon at first either. You probably, that's like a Tetris game, and you're probably terrible at Tetris when you started. So now you're probably a Tetris master, but the cool thing is that the more you do something, the better off it's going to become. So, cool. So your plan is that you're going to have 4 people. Now, have you started to lay out your weekly plan as far as what it is that you want to create on the personal production side and on the building side, or just on the personal production side?
So I've really set some hard goals for my sales side, my production side, working through setting some hard goals for recruiting for myself. But for the production, I'm looking at trying to get 15 appointments scheduled a week. It produces possibly 9 sits. And then looking at 4 to 5 apps a week. And then hopefully those numbers, the closer we get to Miami, I want to increase those. Looking at the next 5-6 weeks, like 3-4 weeks, that's kind of where I want to be at. That's where I want to move forward. In 2 weeks, I want to be at 15 appointments a week,
okay.
At least.
Cool. So we got 15 appointments a week. You want to have 4 people there. Again, I'm gonna say that it's and hey, I'm proud of you for starting to reach out and talking to people that there are such great tools that we have, like this thing called Facebook that I know that a lot of young people don't use, but old people like me, they apparently still use it. it's a great place for you to go back and connect with people from your small town or from other places that maybe they started in your small town. Because where I grew up in Alaska, it was like population several, and most of them like left there, so they're kind of scattered all over the U.S. now. So the way that I keep track of people that I went to school with is, I get on Facebook or I talk to someone. Hey, have you heard from Ernie? Do you remember Ernie? Yeah, man. What did Ernie do? Well, Ernie's an electrician in Phoenix now. I'm like, great. Do you have his number? But it really is like if you haven't done this yet, I'm going to lay a challenge out to you, is sit down and, write down like your top 10 people that you're like, hey, I have no idea if they'd want to do this. I mean, Mark Aceta calls it the chicken list. It's, in fact, you might be like, there's no way in hell this guy wants to do it, but he's successful. He's got all this stuff going on her. She's got her, she is so together, and I don't know why she'd want to do insurance. Cool. It's really not our job to judge. It's just our job to ask the question. Noelle, I love when Noelle reminds me, says, Joseph, our job is a door opener. We just open doors for people. They choose whether or not they want to come in. And the cool thing is that you can literally if you make that list of folks, I'll make a commitment that Sarah or Jake or Beret or I will absolutely help you, make those calls, talk to those people. And who knows, we might even be able to get more than 4 on your team.
My goal is 5. 5 including
5 more. So five more, right? Mm-hmm. Outside of you, outside of both of you guys. Oh, okay. 5. Jake, Bray, you guys have heard it. Write it down, Sarah. Write that down. What'd you say?
Keep me accountable.
Heck yeah. All about accountability. Well, and I do remember that John Wooden said that accountability and feedback is the breakfast of champions. So, that is exactly, and that, my friend, is what I think that you are. So I'm proud of you. Thank you for coming on today. Thanks for, and have you talked to President's Club?
Yes. So I actually signed up while I was at the View.
Okay. So great. Have you set up a time to talk to Clay or Lucero about the next steps on the recruiting end?
Not yet. I kind of hit the ground running when I landed back in Dallas, but it is on things to do. That's for sure.
All right. So this is now everyone else. You aren't listening to this. This is a secret. This is a secret between me and Kinley right here. Kinley, you have a very unique opportunity to reach out to Clay and Lucero, and they will help you on the recruiting end. They are both so good on the phone. They're both so good at helping you set this up. And these are people that you definitely want to get a better relationship with, because it's crazy. I've had times when I wasn't able to get a hold of, I do have, we have a lot of people on our team who speak Spanish, and I do not habla español at all, but I happen to be in places where there are a lot of Spanish speakers. And so, I try to reach out to Veray or Jerry or Jera or somebody else on the team. I've actually had Lucero Diaz call me because I'm like, do you have anyone that can help me? And she's helped me close clients before, run appointments, because these are people who will bend over backwards to help you win. So I would, put that in your schedule today that you need to call Clay and book a time that you guys can, hey, this is what, share your targets with them. And then let's come back and have a conversation on what you're going to do to make it happen.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, cool. Okay. Everyone can listen now. All right, cool. All right, bud. Thanks for hopping on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, I love what we get to do. And I love the people that I get to work with. And I love the new people that keep coming into the organization, and it just inspires me. This next couple, they, rock stars in the Alliance, amazing parents, some of my best friends. They are super fun to be around. So if you guys haven't ever had a chance to spend time with Jake and Bray, they are polar opposites in their personalities, which is super fun. And so I want to be able to get Jake and Bray on here and have them help us close out today's call. Hey guys.
We coming through clear.
You are.
All right, good deal. Thank you, Joseph, for having us on here. It's we do have some fun.
Yeah,
We did have some fun last weekend. Thank you, Andy and Jane, for continuing to lead from the front, to change, to open up new experiences for us. Thank you, Joseph, so much. I know this was not our first event this last week in Denver. Our first event. Again, thank you, Joseph. We're so grateful for you, because I know between you and Jara and Mike and Noel, getting to our first event, we did not get there by ourselves. I know you all invested your time, your money, and your emotional energy in us to get there. And I personally think if we didn't get to that first one, we wouldn't still be here. For those of you, so like for Kinley, for those of you who that was your first event or your second event, before this year, we had in January and in July, we had 2. We didn't have 4. And so now I'm thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's hard for me to wait to July to have another one of those weekends where we all come together. So again, with Andy and Jane bringing in Mark for that change, like if anyone ever tells you, or when someone tells you going to the next event is like nitrous oxide, it's like refueling yourself, recharging your batteries. It so is. Like without fail, every single time we have left an event, it's just new thoughts, new ideas. We're putting our money where our mouth is. New investments in with our money, new investments with our time. It's just, again, without fail, every time coming out of one of these events, there's new commitments, bigger commitments to help grow the business and to help others grow. So yeah, Denver, it was insane view from the edge. Miami, it's funny because some people were surprised that it was snowing in Denver. It's Denver, it's Colorado. It's one of the states in North America that has the most ski resorts. Now when we go to Miami, I have a feeling some people are going to say I wish it was cooler. It's too humid. But either way, we're going to be in Miami. It's going to be so much fun. I'm hoping we can go to the event with our board shorts on, is all I'm hoping.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us on. My mind was just absolutely blown in Denver. I mean, I've seen glimpses of Mark Aceta on stage. I know he did the gambler scene last family reunion. He did the prisoner scene at NatCon. And my mind was just blown. Like that prospector skit, that was definitely hands down my favorite. Like I cried during the ICU scene. Like, if you weren't crying, I don't know what's wrong with you. I laughed. I cried during other things. I cried when Mark Hutchinson had Terry and Tia on stage. Jake and I turned to each other and said, we need some more life insurance.
Yeah, Mark Hutchinson sold more life insurance.
But I definitely, so thank you, Mark Hutchinson, because we are both in the process of getting some more life insurance. But yeah, the prospector scene, man, Mark Aceta he killed every scene, but that one was just, to me, that was a perfect combination of have fun and get to work, keep digging, keep finding that. You might accidentally run into a piece of gold, but if you have fun enough and if you're sifting through, you're going to find those pieces of gold. So I just absolutely love that scene.
That's awesome. Well, so coming out of this event, I mean, you guys have been with us for a few years. You've had some success. Being able to watch your team numbers, you guys had how many people at National Convention?
We had 40 people checked in at National Convention or the View?
No, at NatCon.
I think we had like 32
or 33.
Yeah,
Okay.
32.
And then how many at the View?
We had 40 checked in at the View.
Cool. So you guys are so the cool thing, because Jake, I'm with you. If we have quarterly events and we can increase 25 to 50% every single event, like, I mean, bro, that's like in 12 months time, you've increased your entire team 100%. And then the cool part is that one of the things I got is that if it is the multiplication, leaders, Mark quoted John Maxwell. And a leader is someone who brings on other leaders. That's a real leader. So it's not just addition, it's being able to bring on people who are multiplying. So yeah, so if you start creating that exponential growth. So what is it that you guys, what's changed for you coming out of family, or coming out of you from the edge, and what's changed for you, and what's the next 79 days looking like for you and for your team?
I think so. Kind of coming back to like what Ray said, it's funny because we are polar opposites. But it's funny how two of the same characters really spoke to us. Between three things, between Mark's character with the Joker, between the Pioneer, it was huge because it was like, stop being so serious, start having more fun. Like, we see so many people who are traveling to their teams, having a blast, doing contests, running these things. And it's like, we've seen way too many times where we make it so hard on ourselves. It's like, just make it fun, make it easy. Let's just go out there. It's what Andy says, have fun, make money, make a difference, right? And mastering the mundane. I have no idea how many times Noel has hammered that into my head is master the mundane. So as soon as I saw Mark just tossing that sand in the air, looking for that gold nugget, I just started laughing because I was like, it's funny, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And just seeing that for the billionth time, that type of that message was just like, okay, we can't get weary in well doing. It's just have fun. When he started playing around in the sand like a little kid, it's taking those two characters, having fun, talking to more people, just going super wide to identify those gold nuggets, travel to where they are, go deep. Andy told me, we had a one-on-one conversation. It's just, hey, put it on the calendar. When are you going? Put it on there, go. And recruit like crazy and build like crazy going into that, right? And then two, showing like that's one thing. We don't, to have multiple top producers on our team and all these other things, yes, but what we're really looking for coming out of this is identifying those other leaders, the people who are raising their hands saying, hey, yes, I want to build a massive business. I want to have this many people at the next event, because that's where the magic happens. Is can we teach other people how to be leaders? What does their schedule look like? What are they investing in the sales side? What are they investing in the recruiting and the building side? So that way they can share this with as many people as possible, get as many people as they can to the next event. Because that's us being a river. We realize when Andy talked about our values and our actions, if I'm valuing going partner, are my actions lining up? Am I recruiting like my life depends on it? We can't go partner by ourselves. We need to develop leaders. So the other big thing we're pulling out of that is, okay, does my schedule align with my values? The actions I'm taking by following what's in my schedule, am I recruiting like my life depends on it? And then taking our schedule and comparing it with our leaders who are raising their hands. Do these line up? Where is your scheduled recruiting time? Yes, let's still sell. So where's your dial time and your appointment time? But where is your scheduled recruiting time? And where is the time in the next week, 2, 3, 4 weeks, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, where we're traveling to go see our people? So it's just, copying and pasting and, just finding that one more will make a massive difference in our business. So that's some of the main pieces that I pulled away.
Yeah. And I think for me, it was before Andy had that talk. I don't know if it was I forget what day he had the talk about the quadrants. Mm-hmm. But the evening before, we were at the hotel and, we were downstairs in the lobby and he was asking Jake and I some questions. And simply all he said to me was, you need to spend more time in quadrant 2. And I knew what that meant because I've seen the chart. I've read, the books and stuff like that. But when he talked about that on stage, I said, holy smokes, Ray, you are so deep into quadrant 1, you can't even see quadrant 2 right now. So for me, I think the biggest thing, And it really is like, even, Jake and I, we do schedule ahead, but we're scheduling ahead quadrant 1 things when we should be focusing on quadrant 2 things. So like, I got back, and on my schedule, I had quadrant 1 things. I had, okay, I'm getting off this plane today. I'm dialing. I booked up my appointments. I had appointments on Tuesday, yesterday, helped some families, wrote some apps. But had I spent more time in quadrant 2, I wouldn't be so urgent in quadrant 1, if that makes sense. So for me, I think the biggest thing is, learning, teaching, coaching myself, getting help from you guys, reading more books of just, hey, how can I spend more time in quadrant 2? Because I was actually that person, when he asked that question on stage, which quadrant do you make most money in? I said 1.
There were others that did that as well. Yes.
And then he was like, let me re-ask this question. I said, oh shoot, I think I might have been wrong. So yeah, I think for me, the biggest change is just, how do I spend more time in quadrant 2, just constantly asking you guys for help on that. And yeah, getting my head into quadrant 2 so I can focus more on those things.
That's amazing. That's good stuff. So speaking of quadrant 2, I know you guys coming back, Jake, you're talking about, putting stuff in your schedule of traveling more, serving the team more, doing things like that. What have you guys laid out targets of? Because you guys, I take it you guys are already, in fact, I know you already have your tickets for Miami. I know you already have tickets for Fan Reunion. What's your target as far as being able to bring people to Family Reunion?
So I think Jake and I were talking about that. We kept going back and forth with numbers. We set a goal of 70. But the key here is, Jake and I looked at each other and our team, and we're super grateful. We're so proud of everybody that was at A View from the Edge, but we did not have enough new people at A View from the Edge. So our goal is to bring back at least 20 new people, whether that's in width or depth. We need 20 new people. And if everybody else comes back, I don't see why we can't hit 70 for sure. And it's just like what you were talking about as well is, that doesn't have to be all through us. It's, hey, can we identify some leaders on our team who want to bring, like Kinley, hey, if you truthfully do, and we work with you and you work with Sarah, and we get you to bring 5 more people outside of you, that contributes to our 70. If Sarah commits to 5 more, if Drew, I don't want to start naming names, but the thing is, that doesn't have to be done all through us. But yeah, can we get 20 new people? Everybody that was at the View, they should be in Miami. No excuses, right? If they aren't, something's wrong, and maybe it's not for them, and that's okay. But yeah, I think our goal is definitely 70 people, and I don't want to limit ourselves, but it's just finding other leaders that can help us get more butts in seats, and it doesn't have to be done for us.
Well, and you guys, thank you for talking on the leadership role, because yeah, it's leaders bringing on other leaders, and leaders are coached. Like, it's leaders are not, no one came up to you and said, Ray, I dubbed thee a leader. It's like leadership is taken. It's not given. So the cool thing is that anyone can choose to be a leader. They just have to choose it first and then act like it. So, and that's a great reminder. I'm talking to myself right now, so please nobody take offense at what I'm saying, because I'm reminding Joseph right now that I'm like, oh yeah, shoot, leadership is taken, and leadership is visual. So Jake, what you're talking about getting out of the house, about, I love kind of this friendly rivalry between the Leventovich team and the Riddle team. And understand, if anyone was there and they're like, there's animosity, there's zero. Like we love the Riddle team. They love us. I mean, Andy and Angela are 2 of my best friends. I love them both. And the cool thing is that we all want to win. We just want to win more than they do. So, but the point is I love watching Mike and Noel go out and serve. I love watching Riddle go out and serve. It's funny that the fastest growing teams in the Alliance are the ones where the leaders and then the leaders in depth are going out and serving. So I know that for the Leventovich team, I was talking to Mike and Noel, is the way that we're going to continue to grow faster is by leaders within the team choosing to travel more and go more. And there's some really, like, we have some great tools. If you guys haven't gone, like in the ARC, there's a spot for hot spots. Like, that is something that my staff and I am looking at every day. In fact, every Wednesday, we have a meeting posted there. We're having a meeting tonight here in Ogden, Utah, about a half hour north of Salt Lake in my office. It's every Wednesday. We post it there. I know that Andy is traveling like a madman in Florida here the next. He's in Germany tomorrow. And then as soon as he comes back, he's hitting the East Coast. And I know Mike and Noel are traveling. I know Jake and Bray are traveling. I know Andy Riddle is traveling. I know that if you want to grow, you got to go. And if we want to get our people growing, get them around. I love what Kinley was talking about. She always wanted to get around people who were successful to help her get better. That's the way that she's lived her life. So the cool thing, guys, is that we do have all these tools. But if we don't use the tools, they aren't worth a damn. So it's like, we have this event coming up in 79 days. And I'm just going to tell you, if your actions aren't lining up with your values, you really got to question what the heck's going on. So we have this event in 79 days. It's in Miami Beach. If you don't like Miami, I'm sorry. I know it jacks with my hair too. All the humidity is terrible. But we are going to have this amazing event in Miami. We're going to have some of the best teachers and trainers in the Alliance that are going to be training us on sales, on recruiting, on the how-to. So if someone stepped out of the view and said, man, that was a great event, but I really didn't get a lot of the how-to. Well, apparently you weren't paying attention, because Bell Kraus and Hutch and Leventovich and heck, all these guys were training on, and the Brian Rojas. I mean, some of the training that came out of there as far as the how-to, it was there. But we're going to have even more of that, plus even more inspirational stuff out of this event coming up in 79 days. You need to go to theallianceevents.com. In fact, if you get your ticket, that's awesome. Congratulations. You put your oxygen mask on, get your ticket. Now, if you have someone on your team that's like, I'd like to go, but I don't have $200. I'm like, cool. Why don't you make a deal with your person? Hey, if you got $50, then I'll buy an extra ticket, and then you can pay me the rest here when you write your next policy next week. Like that. Now, this is just what I might suggest. This is not endorsed by Andy or anyone else. So if someone gets mad, get mad at me. But this is what I'm talking about. If someone's just like, well, I really want to go, and here's my reason not to. Money is the easiest one to fix. And the cool thing is, you got 79 days. Then we can talk about airplanes and all that other stuff. But if you're serious about wanting to grow, you got to go. You got to go to the events. You got to get around the heat. You got to find people who are rocking and rolling, because truthfully, if you don't want to grow, I don't know how to help you, but I do know that this event will, if you choose it, it will change your life. It will change not only your life, it will change your children's life. It will impact your family generationally, as it's affected mine. I know it's affected Jake and Bray's. I love watching, the leaders whose children have grown up in this business, and watching where they're at today. Guys, so hotspots, get on there, see where there's a hotspot near you and where there are people that you have on your list that you need to get around, and get to family reunion. You got 4 days, kids. Sunday, midnight Eastern time, that price is going to go up. And, no whining, no bitch moaning and complaining. We got to go. Hey, guys, Jake, Beret, Kinley, Cam, guys, thank you for being on here. This was fun. We should really do it again next week with somebody else. So love you guys. Fired up to see you guys here in 79 days in Miami Beach, and see the rest of you guys around the country. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Recording.